Okay, let's start lesson number 2, the Shoemaker and the Elves. Elves is the plural of elf, which means a fairy-like creature with pointed ears. Once there was a very poor shoemaker. He and his wife lived in a little house on the edge of a wood. Edge means corner and wood means a forest. So once upon a time there was a shoemaker who was very poor, and he lived with his wife in a small house at the corner of a forest. There were not many people who would buy shoes from the shoemaker. The shoemaker earns his daily bread by making new shoes and selling them in market. Although he works very hard, but he failed to manage to earn sufficient money. This is because very few people used to buy shoes from the shoemaker, as he was not very popular in that area. Each day his store of leather became less and less. As a result, when very few people used to purchase shoes from him, he didn't get enough money to buy more leather. So each day his stock of leather became lesser and lesser. He did not have money to buy more leather. Now the day came when he had no money left to purchase new stock of leather. Day by day, shoemaker and his wife grew poorer. Now, as a result, gradually both the husband and wife became too poor. At last, there was leather for only one pair of shoes. Now the day came when they had no money and they were having only that much leather so that they can prepare only one pair of shoes. The shoemaker cut out the last pair of shoes. He said to his wife, "Tomorrow I will sew them." So the shoemaker thought that he will not miss this chance and he will try to make the best shoes out of that piece of leather. So he cut out that leather for making a pair of shoes, and he told his wife that he is feeling tired, so he will stitch it next day. What are the problems that the shoemaker faced? So what were the problems that the shoemaker was facing? That only few people purchased shoe from them, so he was not getting money, and as a result he was facing many problems to earn money. Next morning the shoemaker got up and went into his shop. So the next day the shoemaker woke up and he get ready to went his shop. He was surprised at what he saw. So as he enters at his workshop, he found something unbelievable after seeing the scene there. There he saw a pair of shoes. He was very much amazed that the place on the table where he kept the cutted pieces of leather, they have converted into a complete pair of shoes. He had never seen a better pair of shoes in his whole life. He has never seen this kind of shoes earlier better than this. It was the best shoes. The shoes were perfect, the stitches were fine, they were so very well made that they were sold at once. So the shoes were excellent, the stitches were perfect and outstanding. There was not a single fault in the shoes, and they were so beautifully made that they were sold at a glance in the market. Who do you think kept the shoes in the shop? Now, who is this well-wisher who kept this shop at the shoemaker's shop? Moving ahead, The shoemaker went to the market with the money. Now the money which he got after selling that one pair of shoe, he went to the market. He bought leather for two pair of shoes. Now with the help of that money, he purchased that stock of leather out of which he can prepare two pair of shoes. The shoemaker cut out the two pair of shoes and said to his wife, "Tomorrow I will sew them." Again the shoemaker at the evening cut out that piece of leather and told his wife that next morning he will stitch them. Next day, when the shoemaker went into his shop, he was again surprised to see two pair of shoes beautifully finished. So when the next day arrived, again he woke up and went to his shop to stitch the pair of shoes, but as he enters the shop, again he was filled with wonder by the sight he saw there. He saw that on the table again two beautiful pair of shoes was lying on the table, and they were completed. The shoes were very well made with very fine stitches. The shoes were very beautifully prepared, and the stitches were perfect and outstanding. There was not any default. It was looking like a ready-made shoe. He was surprised. Again he was surprised and amazed and excited. He showed them to his wife, who was also surprised to see such fine pair of shoes. So with that excitement, he can't control himself. He just rushed to his wife to show him and told about the miracle, what is happening with him. And after seeing such fine pair of shoes, his wife also surprised. She said, "These shoes are very fine and the stitches are excellent. They will bring good money." She suggested his husband that these shoes are really outstanding and stunning. The stitches are fine, and if we sold them in market, we will get a good deal of money. Moving ahead, the shoemaker went to the market at once, sold the two pair of shoes for a good price. So without a further delay, he rushed to the market by carrying that two pair of shoes and sold them, and he got a good money. With the money he bought leather for four pair of shoes. Now this time he got some extra money, so that he purchased more pieces of leather so that he could make four new pair of shoes. He cut out the leather and said to his wife, "Tomorrow I will sew them." Again he repeated his action. He cut out the piece of leather to prepare four new shoes and told his wife that he will stitch it next day. The shoemaker got up next morning and went to his shop. What did he find? Again, next morning the shoemaker woke up and went to his shop, and he found something amazing there. Can you imagine what happened? Once again, he found that his work had already been done. So in the morning, once again he found more shoes awaiting him. Someone has already done his part of work. Four pairs of beautiful shoes were lying ready-made on the table. They were perfectly made with very fine stitches and were sold very quickly in the market. Then what he saw there? He saw that four pairs of beautiful shoes were already present there on the table. He thought that there might be some strange well-wisher who is helping him with good intentions. Their stitches were perfect, the shoes were awesome, it was too attractive, perfect, it was looking like ready-made. So this sold in market at once. Every day the shoemaker would get up and go into his shop. There he would find his work already done for him. So this process continued for about a week. Every day he cut out leather, and when next day he went to his shop, he found that beautiful pair of shoes already awaiting him. He always used to found that his work has already been done by someone else. The shoes were always very nicely made, and